Qtum, basically, to give a brief introduction, is a smart contract platform built on an independent blockchain. And this blockchain integrates with proof of stake, and it's based on similar to Bitcoin, the UTXO model. But basically, the big thing that we have right now is that we support the Ethereum virtual machine, which basically allows you to use Solidity smart contracts just as you use for Ethereum on Qtum, and there's no code changes or modifications needed. But we designed this from the very beginning to actually support multiple virtual machines and thus multiple industry-specific use cases for these virtual machines and everything else. And so going forward, we're going to be looking at basically advancing the smart contract space by actually creating a new virtual machine on this platform. And so it will be based on the X86 architecture, which basically in your MacBook, that's the processor that your computer actually uses to function. And so there's already, it's a very popular architecture. Everyone has already written their development tooling for it. And so we're hoping to basically be able to tap into that whole ecosystem and support different smart contract languages beyond Solidity. So that includes stable and decade-old languages like C++, but also Rust, Go, and even Python. And basically by supporting these new languages, we will actually bring some stability into this whole smart contract space. As she said earlier, $100 billion has been lost just from programmer bugs and security exploits. And we're basically hoping to bring these mature workflows that have been used to write security critical code and life critical code, like for pacemakers and everything else, and also to enable a larger hiring pool. And our big thing is basically to bring stability to the space rather than shiny toys for smart contract developers to shoot themselves in the foot with. And so going forward, that's kind of our big plan for advancing the smart contract space. And also this new virtual machine, because it's using an existing architecture that's so popular, there's existing tooling for better performance of executing your actual smart contract, because there's like VMware, VirtualBox, these kind of things that emulate servers. The same kind of tools can be used to run smart contracts directly rather than having to use some kind of weird interpreted virtual machine. And basically what that means in the long run is cheaper decentralized applications. They cost less gas, less transaction fees, and overall the entire blockchain will basically be able to process more transactions per second, and including more complicated contract transactions. Another feature that we're going to be coming out with the whole x86 virtual machine is basically an idea called first-class oracles. And right now, if you have an oracle, that's like a publish data to the blockchain, because the blockchain is kind of a vacuum. And so basically being able to fetch that data directly rather than having to go through this whole smart contract inefficiency. And also it will be possible to, not quite free to execute, but basically for the smart contract or decentralized application to pay for its own execution. Right now this isn't possible, but with this, it will be to where you can basically send a transaction and not have to pay gas fees. And another aspect that we're integrating into the x86 virtual machine is Decentralized Governance Protocol, or DGP. And basically, this is a on-chain governance system where certain parameters or upgrades can be made on the blockchain without having to fork, without having to potentially disrupt the ecosystem. And this whole system is designed to be very flexible. So you have a variety of voters. They can be replaced. You can even have AI-based smart contracts that participate in this governance system and have basically build a structured governance system rather than a direct democracy as is traditional for right now. And as part of the x86 virtual machine, we're basically going to make this whole system to where you can opt into it with your decentralized app, so that you don't have to write your own governance system and expend all that effort and potentially expose yourself to security bugs. So, and also the x86 virtual machine is coming later in 2018. And yeah, thank you for having me.